And welcome back for Viewer Mail. We're pleased to have Doug Andrews and Richard Sanders back.
Pleasure.
So we're going to jump right in there. Crystal in Savannah wants a divorce, and she can't find her husband, so no telling why she wants that divorce. What can she do?
Some wives would be happy with just that result.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the easy answer is that Georgia does allow divorce by publication. The more complicated answer is there's certain steps that you've got to follow to make sure you actually don't know where the person's located.
And I have undone 2 divorces. Both of them were military related. I've undone the divorce where the proper steps were not taken in a publication divorce. In one of them, the soldier had remarried and got the new wife a military ID card, but it was all fraudulent because he knew where the wife was and didn't serve her and lied saying he didn't know where she was. So that made the divorce he got invalid. So now he's married to 2 people. So you have to make a diligent search. That is, you have to exhaust all known possibilities. Call his mom, call his best friends, call any clubs he belongs to. Try to actually find him. Track down his relatives. You've got to make that diligent effort.
Okay, our next question is from Nick in Rincon, who was pulled over by the police, and they asked him questions without reading his Miranda rights. Is that constitutional?
I hate it when that happens. Miranda is not required in your ordinary traffic stop. Miranda is triggered by a person being placed into custody. Usually that means cuffed and stuffed. Put handcuffs on, put in the patrol car. If they then want to question you after you're in custody or arrested, Miranda must be read then in order for them to get into evidence what you say. But in your typical traffic stop or DUI case, they ask all the bad questions before they make the arrest decision. So the fact they didn't read Miranda is of no moment.
Okay, when are they allowed to search your car?
Well, that's an interesting issue because recently the Supreme Court has ruled that the search incident to arrest, which we have traditionally done with vehicles by older Supreme Court cases, if the police arrest somebody, they're cuffed and stuffed in the back of the police car, they then go search the car incident to arrest, and they find drugs in the car. Well, the Supreme Court said, not so fast. What's the reason for searching that car? If it's for officer safety, you're not in jeopardy because the guy's locked up in the car. He can't get to any gun or anything. So the police are now going to rely more upon an inventory of the vehicle. It's a search, and they guise it in the words inventory for things that might get lost or stolen, but I have yet to see any inventory form or anything done to protect valuables in the car. Okay. So that may be attacked one day.
Does that include
they have to have a search warrant now instead of using incident to arrest to search the vehicle unless they do it on another basis like inventory.
Okay, does that include the trunk or just what they can see?
It includes all of it.
Okay.
Now, if it's open to view, then that's not a search if you just look in the window and see a bag of dope sitting there. But generally speaking, you may have to get a search warrant now, for the police would have to, but usually people consent to it. Or the dog does a free air search around the vehicle, and that's held under exigent circumstances. A free air search by a drug dog alerting on the vehicle would give them probable cause of search.
Okay. Our next one's from Mackenzie and Pooler by our toll-free line. The ex is claiming that his weekend with that's his weekend with the children, but the court papers say it's her weekend. What do they do?
This sounds like every Friday afternoon in the office. Usually when kids are exchanged, parents just don't seem to get along. If the papers actually say that it's her weekend, then it's her weekend. If the papers say it's his weekend, it's his weekend. The best thing to do is contact your attorney, contact the one that drafted your paperwork and say, hey, here's the dispute. What usually happens is they alternate weekends, and some holiday fell in and it messed up the plan in there. And it's like we said earlier, act like adults. Let the children see the other parent. It's about the kids, it's not about the parents.
Well, they sell these big calendars at like Office Depot. It looks like they would each just buy one and circle.
We've had many of those in the office where we've gone through the calendar day by day, years past, and said, all right, you had this weekend, this is his weekend, and here's how it's going to go from now on.
But it's not as much fun to fight over that, is it?
It sure isn't.
Okay, our next one's from Rhonda in Savannah by email. Her baby's father has no part in his daughter's life. He's not providing financial or emotional support. What can she do?
Well, the easiest thing to do is I'd say she needs to get some financial support. She needs to contact her local child support enforcement office. They are actually a part of the Department of Human Resources for the state of Georgia, a branch of the prosecutor's office. They will initiate the action, find the father, determine paternity to make sure, and then set child support. As far as the emotional support, unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do to make him be a better father.
Well, and you have to weigh whether it's in the child's best interest that he be involved. I don't know what kind of guy he is. If he's a dirtbag, you might not want him involved with a child.
Okay, we only got about 30 seconds left. I was driving my boyfriend's car. This is Emily in Savannah, driving her boyfriend's car, pulled over for speeding. The officer did ask to search the car, found coke, and she was arrested for possession. It wasn't hers, didn't even know it was in the car. What can she do?
My great Aunt Dorothea would say, I believe you where thousands wouldn't. You're going to have a tough time if you're exclusive possession of that vehicle. You're charged with kind of an inferred base belief that if it's in there and you're alone in the vehicle, you must know what's there. But they still have to prove that so. And if you deny it, there should be some linkage between you and those drugs. But it looks bad, smells bad.
Okay, thank you so much, Doug. If you have any questions, you can contact the show through 888-2037-LAW or through our website at talkinglawtv.com. Hope you enjoyed this episode and join us again next week. Bye-bye.